I'm Victor Liong and welcome to Celebrity Sandwich. Hi, I'm Victor Liong and today for Celebrity Sandwich, I'll be making my chicken schnitzel sandwich. I've stolen this recipe from a little cafe in Surrey Hills in Sydney called City Edge, which I used to visit when I was an apprentice quite often. Traditionally, it's a tuna sandwich, but today we're putting a chicken schnitzel, just like how I used to order it. So in the sandwich today is tasty cheese, some rocket, shaved onions, rinsed in cold water, boiled eggs, little butter, tinned beetroot. Australia's favourite beetroot. Fantastic. Mayonnaise, and the bread we're using is just a regular soft sandwich loaf bread. We're using a light rye today, but you can use a dark brown or a wholemeal. So here we go. So first of all, we're gonna boil eggs. So these eggs are hard boiled. Having a slightly runny yolk is probably not ideal for a sandwich like this, because what you're after is kind of the texture of the egg that's kind of eating through it. So I've got a pot of water here. I'm just gonna bring this to the boil. Very important, room temperature eggs into boiling water, 10 minutes for a larger egg like this, and 9 minutes for a regular egg that you would get at home. And the reason to have it at room temperature is so the eggs don't just immediately crack when they land into the boiling water. Let's stop everything. Before we continue, this sandwich traditionally has alfalfa sprouts, which usually I'm a massive hater of, but in this instance, it works really well. And it can be replaced with rocket in a pinch, and I've done that today because I feel that rocket's a little bit more accessible. But alfalfa works amazingly in the sandwich because it pairs really well with the flavor of boiled eggs and the earthy beetroot. Alfalfa, get on it. And also, what is alfalfa for you to sprout it? So the water's boiling now, so we're just gonna slip them in with a spoon. So in boiling water, with the assistance of a spoon, just slip it in. And then when you bring it back up to the boil, right, despite its name, boiled eggs, you don't want the water to be boiling. Just a little simmer so it just agitates the egg, otherwise it's gonna be a massacre in the pan. A good tip is use Siri. Hey Siri, 10-minute timer. So that's been 10 minutes, and we're just going to drain off the hot water and cover it in cold water just to cool the eggs down. A good tip is a cooked egg spins. A raw egg, which I have here, does not. There you go. Okay, cool. Let's do this chicken schnitzel. So now you'll need a chicken breast and a crumbing station. So I've got some flour here, just plain flour. I've seasoned it with a little bit of salt. I've got 2 eggs beaten with a fork and a little bit of milk. You don't have to go crazy. As you can see, this is still a little bit stringy. And panko breadcrumbs. This is a Japanese breadcrumb with a large crumb and a flakier texture. Another good tip is stuffing mix. I love stuffing mix as a crumbing medium because it comes seasoned with spices and herbs. Good choice. So a chicken breast here, you want to cut it a little bit thicker than what you want in the sandwich. So I'm going to cut about 1.5 centimeters thickness. And I've got a plastic bag that I've cut the sides off. So it's made a big wide plastic sheet, and you sandwich it in there, and then we're going to bash it out with a pot. You're aiming for a size that's slightly larger than the bread and a nice even thickness. So I'm just gonna season it with a little bit of salt, a little bit of white pepper. What you want to do with it now is to dust it in the flour. So a good chef trick is to keep one hand for your wet mix and one hand for your dry mix. Don't worry, I confuse this all the time. So I'm gonna go dry with the right. So in the dry ingredients, so evenly cover the chicken breast, dust off the excess, into the egg. And I'm using chicken here, but if you want a substitute of this, it's an eggplant schnitzel is actually quite nice as well. So just slice the eggplant slightly thinner than 1 centimeter and just do this process. So into flour, into egg, and into breadcrumbs. Just pressing it in lightly. So that's your chicken schnitzel. So we're gonna let that sit here for a few minutes and then we'll proceed. And now we're gonna peel the eggs. So these are cooled down in some cold water. A good tip is to kind of crack them a little bit and a lot. You don't wanna go too heavy-handed with this because you'll probably split the egg. There you go, 3 boiled eggs. And for this sandwich, we're just gonna slice them up. If you have one of those really cool egg slicer machines where you just kind of press it and it slices, they're really good, but I'm just gonna use a knife. So we're gonna shallow fry this schnitzel. So the idea is to have the oil that kind of comes up just over halfway the schnitzel until it floats in the oil. And we're gonna enrich in the cooking with a little bit of butter. It is at the right temperature now. An important tip is to lay your food away from you. If you push it down the other way, there will be a tsunami of oil coming back at you, and that's not very pleasant. So as you can see, you wanna lay it away from you. And there's a gentle sizzle, which is what we're after. So you're cooking on like a medium-low heat here. And you wanna check your schnitzel incrementally. Looking pretty good. So you want a light golden brown. And then at that stage, we're gonna add some butter into the pan, and that will foam up, and then we'll flip the schnitzel. It's going to enrich in that schnitzel, and that looks great. Smells good. And we're there. So that's ready to go. We're just letting that rest a touch so it's not like piping hot. And then we're gonna assemble our sandwich. So we're going to butter both sides of the bread because brown bread and butter are best friends. And it's very important to go edge to edge. That's the key to a nice sandwich as well. It's how the ingredients interact with each other in every mouthful. Some sandwiches are nice because it's a variety of tastes and textures as you eat it. This one's got a lot going on, but it's a hearty sandwich. You know, I used to eat this once a week on my day off as an apprentice. Really good friends with a beer and a packet of crisps. So I'm putting a bed of rocket down, quite a generous amount because I like the bite, and also I need it to stop the schnitzel from moving. So I've got the schnitzel on here, mayonnaise, Kewpie mayonnaise, except no substitutes. You want the skinny nozzle, and you want to give it a good slathering. Next up, we're going to shingle on boiled egg, and we're putting on some shaved onion. So the onions are going to stop the beetroots from slipping out. It's a big sandwich too, this. You know, it's a nice hearty 1 meal a day type thing that, you know, an apprentice chef kind of really loves. 1 slice of tasty cheese. I'm just going to shut this guy like a book. Push it down. I'm a cut in half sandwich guy. If you're a cut and diagonal sandwich person, go for it. You know, you do you. And here is my chicken schnitzel sandwich, which I stole from City H. Look at that cross section. Delicious. Sliced, always. Butter, loads and loads of butter. White over brown. Straight down the middle. Crusts off. Refinement, always. Smooth. Jam, I have to say jam. BLT. BLT is a tomato sandwich, not a bacon sandwich. Did you know that? Club, 100% club. Bao. I'm not a noisy eater. Being's too crunchy. Hector's Deli, 100%. The tuna melt is a must. Sandwiches. That's so good. It really is like a near perfect mouthful. It's got all the appealing things I really love. The best part about this sandwich is all these combinations of ingredients are best friends, you know. Egg and beetroot and cheese, best friends. Rocket and schnitzel and mayonnaise, best friends. So, you know, I feel that if you don't have all these ingredients, you can kind of subdivide it into halves and still make a great sandwich. Do the boiled eggs ahead of time, do the schnitzel ahead of time, and yeah, just go for it. I'm gonna have another bite. I'm so hungry.